Good morning, everybody. Or nobody. Nobody's here yet. Good morning, everybody. We're going to just share the broadcast on Facebook again. Really quick. Hang on. Cancel. Discard. Share. Copy link. Hang on one second. I'll be right back. I'm going to be here, but I can't see the chat because I'm going over to Facebook to the groups. I'm going to put the link in one more time. Paste, post, next, paste, post. Okay. I'm back. Good morning. Let's see. All right. Good morning. I'm back. How is everybody today? I thought at least to start off with, we'd start with a view of the zombie dolls that I've made so far. Let me just, hold on. Is that better? Maybe? Oops. Maybe that's a little bit better. Anyway, good morning. I should turn that thing off because I don't know about you guys, but that's going to make me crazy. Hold on. It's going to pop in and out the whole time we're streaming. Okay. All righty. So now we're ready. So far we've done of 3 of the 4 horsemen. We're not going to work on the 4th one today. We're going to work on something else, but I just thought I would share. We have in Conquest and War. And oops, Pestilence or Famine, which I think to date happens to be my favorite. So the last one is Death. I'll be working on him later, and I may film that one because although I have a zombie doll video coming out on Friday, that's a full-blown tutorial with close-up shots of how you do the stitches and everything, and me talking you through it and the whys and the hows and all that. The horse is a little bit different, and some of it's the same, but it's a little different in how you assemble it. So I may do another video where I just make Death the last set, and we film that, and I do some close-ups of how you make the horse. The horse is included in the zombie doll pattern if you buy it on Etsy, FYI. So anyway, I got asked last week if I could please make a Dammit doll. So we can make a Dammit doll. Now, I found this photo in my archives on my computer. This is a picture from the place I used to work and where I had an arts and crafts booth. In fact, this picture was, I think, taken at the front desk. You can kind of see the desk in the background. These are the way the Dammit dolls used to look that I used to make, and I used to sell a lot of them at shows and in my booth. and they had a poem on the stomach. The zombie doll pattern I've been using, especially for the Four Horsemen, is based on this doll. It's just a reduced size pattern. The poem says, and I quote, let's see, need the reading glasses. When you want to climb the wall and stand right up and shout, here's a little Dammit doll you cannot do without. Just grab it firmly by the legs and find a place to slam it. And as you whack the stuffing out, yell, damn it, damn it, damn it. If damn it's not a word you say, then twist its little neck and grumble out repeatedly, oh heck, oh heck, oh heck. Once you're done abusing it, just sit it on the shelf, but hug it first as I'd hug you if I were there myself. Don't we all need one of these today? I didn't know I had any of this stuff until I started making the zombie dolls and trying to make my own pattern for the zombie dolls. And then I realized I still had this pattern and the pictures and all that stuff. So we are going to make a Dammit doll this morning. I took the poem and I printed it on some of this printer fabric. I oriented it a little bit different way, so it's this way on the doll. It doesn't really matter. You can retype it and orient it this way, the way I did here on the old dolls, so that you could read it this way on its belly. I actually might sew this to the back. I'm actually not sure yet, but anyway, I printed it on some of this June Taylor printer fabric. So this June Taylor fabric, this is a product from June Taylor. They sell it in packs of, I think, 10 sheets, and it is fabric that's already put onto a back. It's intended for going through your printer, and it's supposed to be color safe and waterproof and all that stuff, supposedly. I've never tested it. I usually use it on things I have no intention of washing. But that being said, I can add a link into the video description after we're done doing the live broadcast. So if you're watching this recording of the live, the link should be in the video description. I usually get it from Amazon, but you can order it directly from June Taylor, which I think I'd rather do going forward. You can, of course, I printed a few of them. You can, of course, iron a piece of muslin to the waxy side of a piece of freezer paper, and then cut that to 8.5 by 11 and run it through your printer and do things like print this poem for the Dammit doll on it. Also on the back of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, I have a little explanation that I actually printed all of these on the same sheet of fabric. And so, and then I sewed it to the back of the doll, one on the back of the horse and the same one on the back of the doll, the rider. I don't usually ever intend on washing these things. And so I don't worry about it, whether it's actually waterproof or not. But if you're going to do the muslin on freezer paper, I almost lost my train of thought there. Can you tell? Then before you do anything with it or even remove it from the freezer paper, you probably want to give it a couple coats of like Krylon matte finish spray or something, just to help set the ink so it doesn't fade or anything. I don't really do that with the June Taylor fabric, but I have done that when I've used the muslin on freezer paper. So there you go. So we're going to make a Dammit doll today. Now I pulled some fabric from my stash. I don't know if you're going to be able to see on here, but these are just made from random kinds of fabric. These look like they might be Christmas fabrics. I used to honestly just buy clearance cottons to make these, and I used to paint the faces on, and I forgot that I gave them hair. We're not going to paint the face on today, but I did pull a bunch of fibers and trims here from my little stash that was on the table, some of which came recently in Happy Mail from Aunt Beck's Creations. And this is from leftovers from a meditation journal page that we did recently. So I think we're going to use some of that for the hair. And then we're going to use some black felt and buttons for the eyes. So let's get started. Welcome, everybody. Good morning. Dammit dolls this morning, in case you missed all that. All right, so the first thing you want to do is get your pattern. Now, I made this pattern a long time ago. You can tell it's been well used. This is made out of chipboard, anything that usually that I'm going to make a lot of, I usually cut the pattern out of something stiffer than just your ordinary paper or cardstock. And let me see if I can put this up just a little bit so it shows. Nope, it's too big for the camera. Let's see. How about that way? Yeah. Okay, so this Dammit doll measures 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's about 13 inches long and about 5 inches from the straight line to the edge of the arm. Now, again, this is based on my zombie doll pattern. Actually, my zombie doll pattern is based on this. So just the zombie doll pattern, what you can do is print this pattern piece in that pattern to be as big as you want your Dammit doll. That's all you need to do is just size up that pattern piece when you print it. Just checking to make sure I'm not missing the chat or anything. So, and then I have this cut on the straight, on the straight edge. Good morning. Hey, Nell, because you need to cut this edge, this flat edge on the fold. So I have some just random pieces of cotton here. These are an old shirt I picked up a ways ago at the thrift store with the intention of making stuff out of it. So we're going to just fold it in half. We're going to place our pattern on the fold, that straight edge on the fold. I'm going to trace around it with a water-soluble marker. In the old days, I wouldn't do that. I'd just use Sharpie, to be honest. But we're going to use a water-soluble marker. So if you're going to make a lot of these for maybe your Etsy shop, if you're in an area that's allowing Christmas craft fairs, if you're going to make these for those, I would definitely recommend cutting the pattern out of something sturdier than paper, like cardstock. And they're not hard to make. So once you have that, you know what I forgot? My pinking shears. Yeah, hold on. Hey, Kathy. No worries. I need my pinking shears. Hang on. They're here somewhere. Oh, there. So for those that don't sew and don't know, pinking shears are scissors that cut in a zigzag. I'm not much anymore, but the Dammit dolls, I never sewed them and then turned them right side out. I left the edges raw, but I didn't want them to unravel too much. So I always cut it out with pinking shears, which I actually probably need to stand up for. So hold on. I did see your Etsy order. Thank you so much. I printed the packing slip before we went live, and I will be packing it as soon as we're done. And it will go out probably sometime early tomorrow. Right? It's going to fit in the box here at the house, so I have to run down to the mailbox and take it, the P.O. box, and go drop it off over there. Which is okay because I need to check the P.O. box again. So just cut, and I usually cut outside that blue line just a little bit. Okay, something like that. So we're going to need 2 of those. Somehow I don't think that piece is big enough, which is why I picked another piece of fabric out. For those that don't know, Kathy, of course, knows because she placed an order this morning. My Etsy shop has are 40% off until the 15th of October. Just inventory reduction. I'm not continuing anything. I just have a lot of stuff and some of it needs to move along. So if you have been eyeballing anything, now's the time. And to be honest with you, that's almost cost. So it might actually be below cost on a couple of products. So anyway. So again, for those that were making a deal this morning at craft shops, when I had crafts or for fairs and stuff all the time, a lot of these. This same basting. I know Kathy, you got that this morning. So I'll do a size that you want for your, and if they got the F layout, which includes Dammit. So you might want to on out to leaving a little bit of an edge. Okay. So our two gingerbread brand pieces. Buffering. Ah, fabulous. It's buffering on one and not the other one. Let's see. This plugged in. Does anybody else? Good morning, Eva. Okay, hold on. The focus could be because all right, so this is the basis for our Dammit doll. Put every zombie dolls, everything on the front before we make it. And so tell me we're going to have to start and stop this. Okay, I'm using StreamYard, so I'm not sure about refreshing. Let's see. Can you hear me now? At least this time we're only 15 minutes into the broadcast. Okay, you can hear me, okay? Is the picture better? Like, holy moly, people. Okay, so okay, good. I haven't had StreamYard do this either, or seen anybody else who's using it do this either. Okay, so, and just FYI, we're connected via Ethernet, not via Wi-Fi. So it's not the Wi-Fi connection in my house. So I don't know. Okay, so we've got our two pieces for our Dammit doll. And the first thing we're going to do is decorate the front of the doll, just like we do the zombie dolls. Okay, so I'm going to actually cut a couple of circles. I have an idea. And we're actually going to use my little small cheapo sewing machine for this because these are Dammit dolls. And I've known people to actually buy these dolls and seriously use them as something to whack on rather than just a joke, and whack it on a table or something and then have the doll just go flying and arms fall off and, you know, whatever. So you really do want to stitch everything down really well. I'm going to, instead of painting the eyes, we're going to use buttons and felt. And I have white thread around here somewhere. If you could see the rest of my table, you would all laugh because, yeah, it's a mess. I thought I had white. Am I out of white? Oh, no, there it is. These were always really great sellers at the craft shows. I think I said that already a couple times. Again, I gotta, you know, blame our issues with broadcasting and internet connections for the most part with the fact that the entire planet is on the internet at the same time. Because, you know, hello, apocalypse. So I just roughly cut out some black circles. Okay, good, yay. And I'm going to actually do them this way. I'm going to just roughly sew these buttons on. I'm going to leave the knot and the extra strings showing rather than trying to hide them. So that's one eyeball. This isn't hard sewing stuff, by the way, and you totally could do this little guy by hand. But if you're going to do a whole bunch of them for a show or a fair, you probably want to not do that. It takes a long time. You probably want to do them on machine. You don't have to, though. And in the old days, I used to paint the faces rather than sew anything on. So you could do that too. Oh, Nell, I'm so sorry. Yeah, in case, for those that, well, the vlog doesn't come out until tomorrow, and some of the news won't even come out until next week, but because of the fires, if you're in a life of art and self-expression, you already know this. I am back on daily steroid inhalers because they messed with my asthma. And so, yeah. So now I sound raspy all the time, and I'm on a daily steroid, and it'll take a few weeks to kick in, and, you know, fun times. All right, so that's where I'm going to put the eyes. I've got them pinned in place. I want to put one of these across. So do I want to put it this way? Do I want to put it this way? I didn't actually think it would fit this way, but it will fit that way. Well, heck, I have one of these. It's easy to peel. I do, but I'll show you on this. Now, I said earlier, this stuff has like a sticky backing paper. Again, this is the June Taylor printer fabric. And on this sheet, which is 8.5 by 11, there is like one seam that runs down, but I usually print like 4 or 5 things on a sheet. And so then when I cut them out like this, then, you know, inevitably that little seam is on something else. So what I do, yeah, now I don't disagree with you. And I talked to my doctor and I reluctantly, at least for now, agreed to go back on a daily steroid inhaler. So I just scratch the backing paper with the pointy end of my scissors, and then I lift up a corner and then just peel it off. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out with the pinking shears again as soon as it uncurls, because, you know. Yeah, steroids can affect your mood. They usually mess with my other medications I'm on. To be honest, I don't want to get into that too much, but yeah, so fun times. So I'm going to just trim this so that it's more even, but also so that all the edges are pinked. It also can you tell that my hands are jittery? They've been jittery since I started taking that steroids. So like that. And then where's the front of our doll? And we will put him like here. I want to put it there. I could trim it a little bit more and get it down there, because usually I put a like ribbon around their neck. Or is that too close to his crotch? I don't disagree with you, Kathy. I'm trying to work out my stress in healthy ways, hence the zombie dolls, which I think I started making in like March or April. And, you know, good spot, LOL. See, there you go. Okay, so we're going to put it down there. So again, like with the eyes, I'm going to pin it in place. You could use your fabric basting glue stick for this, but these are big enough pieces that I don't have a problem with. That's not centered. I don't have a problem with pinning them. Holy cow. I don't want to be too picky, but you know, you don't want it too close to the edge because you're going to have like a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So you want to make sure that your words are far enough away from the pink edge of the doll body that when you sew the two pieces, the two halves together, that you don't cut the words off. When I used to make these for sale, I would put a string around their neck, like a little bow tie, and then I would tie a tag to the bow tie that has the poem on it and then the price tag on the back. Oh, thanks. Yeah, you know, it is what it is. I did give the doctor a hard time and said, you know, I'm trying to be on less medication, not more medication. God darn it. And she thought that was funny. I was like, I don't know if I exactly thought it was funny. I don't want to put anything else on him, I don't think. I do have lots of bits and pieces here on the table. So I think the next thing that we need to do is get out the sewing machine. So we're going to move some stuff to the side. I've got it right here. Yeah, you can see a little bit of it. I messed up the thread on it when I pulled it up. I accidentally pulled the thread out when I pulled it up. This is a little cheapo Janome machine. I usually just use it for sewing paper and mixed media things. I don't usually use this one for what we're going to do with it because it's not my favorite thing on the planet. But it's easier to bring to the table than my big giant Foth machine, which is hard. It has black thread in it, which I was going to change, but that'll show up well on camera. And this fabric has a little black line in it, so that's okay. I don't think I have enough bobbin thread for the whole doll, but we'll find out. Let's see. He did. And so just, there's some other stuff coming out between Mike and I. That's all I can tell you. Stay tuned to his channel and mine. That's all I can tell you. There's some other things in the works. So the first thing I'm going to do, because I rethreaded the machine, is I'm going to test a piece of the fabric. That's something that you should always do when you're setting up the machine for a new project. You don't want to put the actual thing through the machine and then have the tension be off or something. Speaking of which, what am I on? Yeah, should be okay. Let's see. It's a little loud, sorry. Yep, looks good. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our doll front, the eyes down, and I'm just using a straight stitch. I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm going to sew the eyes down around the edge, and I'm going to sew our poem down around the edge. Okay. Don't sew over your pins. It might hit the needle, and you might break a needle, break the pin up in your face, hurt yourself. Oh, I'm so sorry, Eva. Yeah, we've had a couple scares in our close circle of. Hi, Barbara. Hello. So I'm going to, as I'm sewing, I'm going to take off and get blood on the project. I've repeatedly said blood on the project is a bad idea. Just that, and then clip threads. Can't see it from the front because it's black. That's what it looks like. I just went around the edge on there. This little Janome new home machine you can usually find pretty cheaply, definitely less than $100. If you do your shopping right and or you have coupons, sometimes you can find it for less than $50. I do think this is one of the machines that carry at Walmart. It's not a fancy machine. It doesn't do a lot of stitches. It just really does straight and zigzag. But for this, it works. Okay, now we're going to sew the poem on. Does anybody else have having trouble with buffering? Again. Hey, Linda. So as I get to the corner of the poem, I'm going to stop with the needle down and lift up the presser foot and then turn the corner. Do the same thing to the next corner. If I go too far, I just hit the reverse and go back a little bit. If you're unsure about your ability to sew a good straight stitch line, don't use black thread like I'm using. Use white or a complementary color to your fabric, because then it won't show too much. Okay, so that is actually that. So now I'm going to actually do something with, I used to put a mouth, like a grimacing mouth on these guys. So I think we're going to do that. If we have enough thread in the bobbin, we'll see. So I'm going to start with the edge of his mouth. And then And that is our finished front of our Dammit doll. Yeah, it does look like a diaper, but you know, it's okay. Yes, so I take my daily vitamins, which include C, taking lots of vitamin D, and my daily vitamins also already included zinc. So yeah, I was taking an emergency probiotic and putting that in my water every morning, but now I can't find it anywhere as an extra boost to my vitamins. But maybe just a regular emergency. Anyway, so there's the front of our doll. So now we're going to layer our two pieces of doll. But I always gave my dolls hair, like crazy wild hair. So we have all of this, some of which is from Aunt Beck's Creations. She recently sent me some happy mail with some beautiful trims and things in it. No, don't use this. You want to use some kind of nice cotton, nice quality, like quilting cotton. This is an old shirt from the thrift store. You don't want anything with a loose weave, and you want some kind of sturdy fabric. My former sister-in-law, I actually gave her one of these, and I think she only had it 5 minutes, and she whacked it on the table and tore both the legs off. I'm guessing she was a little mad at my brother. So anyway, so I have this. I was kind of wondering how that would look. I don't know. That's kind of crazy. I also have this piece of blue ribbon. This is from Aunt Beck, which actually might be cute in there. I'm wondering if I tie little like tufts of it together. Yeah, so I always did some kind of hair sticking out, and I'm kind of wondering if we did, like we cut off this side and just use, I tried doing this, but I think that's too much. So I'm thinking cut some of this off. Like that. I might stuff that inside of him anyways. And do this with some of this blue, which picks up the blue in the fabric on the doll. Right? My hair, you know, I definitely am rocking the, you know, Corona hair, and, you know, the grayer it gets and the more it gets curly and sticks out, the more I resemble Einstein's sister. Like, oh man, it's crazy. So I'm thinking if we take a little bit of this really pretty blue ribbon from Aunt Beck. Yep, old 70s polyester would be good if you see one of those old 70s polyester suits at the craft store. Or I'm sorry, thrift store. So if we put some of that in there with the fur, I'm thinking that's cute. What else do I have in here? I don't think the yellow really goes. I've got a little bit of white though. So what I'm thinking is something like that. Oops. I'll catch up on the chat in just a second. Okay, I need some clips. Let's see. So I'm thinking layer these together and clip. You're going to want to baste this, I think. I think I used to sew these on by hand, this part, but I think if you're going to do it by machine, you're going to want to baste your little hair and then sew it on. You could put it in between the layers, or you could put it on the top. I don't remember how I did it before. I know, right? So yeah, Einstein's sister. I think I sort of am starting to resemble her if he had a sister. So I think that would be cute for the hair. See, that's cute. Let's see. So now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a basting stitch down here at the bottom where the stitching line is on this fur that I made. And I'm going to put it between the layers. I have a feeling that's probably what I did last time when I used to make these for the shows. I have a feeling. Just like that. You don't need to go back and forth because you just want to make sure everything stays together. And then put it between the layers of fabric like that. You know, one of the ideas behind these for me always was they should just make you laugh. That just makes me laugh. It kind of resembles my hair most days, but you know. Making multiple ones, just sew fabric onto head when putting together, then pink it. Yeah, definitely. You could do a bunch of these little like tufts of hair and just have them aside. And when you're doing the assembly process, if you're doing a whole bunch of these, then just grab one and stick it in there as you're putting them all together. And again, if you already have the zombie doll pattern, then you just need to size up the pattern to be the size for the doll that you want to make. This doll originally was, what did I say? Does anybody remember? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, about 13 inches by, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's this straight edge goes on the fold. So it's about 13 by 10. So the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to pin our layers together so they don't move too much. And I'm going to try to put most of the pins like on the inside of the doll well away from the seam allowance so that I don't have to take them out when we're sewing the doll together. Exactly. It's, you know, the same thing with the zombie dolls. They're intended to make you smile, to help you work out, you know, the stress of what's going on. And, you know, things are crazy enough. I do have, does anybody know what here's a thoughts I have running through my mind. Does anybody know anything about the Butterfly Project? It's out of the Holocaust Museum in Houston, Texas. Back in the day, I sent some butterflies in to them. Their goal was, they have a permanent display, and their goal was to have people make butterflies, one for every person killed in the Holocaust. And I do believe they, over the years, got enough butterflies that the project was completed. which is fabulous. I had the idea last night. I don't have the financial means, the time, energy, but at some point, how great would it be as a community if we got together and did zombie dolls or something, one for every person that was killed because of the pandemic, and had it on display somewhere? That would be a wonderful memorial. Yeah, so I had one of these for years that used to sit in my art room and or the front living room of our old house, and it must have ended up in a purge because I don't know where it went to. So this little guy is going to be my new Dammit doll. It's a good idea. I don't know how we would accomplish that as a community. I mean, at this point worldwide, we have millions of people affected. It would have to be a worldwide project. We would have to get the entire art community involved, and we would need some sort of patron to help us financially with it, I think. And we would need a museum interested in displaying said goods. I think it's a great idea that deserves some more talk and communication. I think it's a good therapy tool to deal with what's happened, and a nice memorial. So, I don't know. You all know now I said it, so we all can think about it. And if you know people who know people, start talking to them. So now we're going to sew all the way around the edge. You want to leave. Good. That was the point of bringing it up today. I wanted to not forget to bring it up today. So you want to leave like a 2 or 3 inch opening on some part of your doll, whether it's on the side of the head or it's on the side of the body. I usually don't pick the arms or the legs. I usually pick like right here on the abdomen or on the head somewhere, because usually on the zombie dolls, I leave the top of the head open. Because this guy's got hair, that's not going to happen. So we're going to leave a 2 inch-ish thing open over here. Or over here. I think it's something we should think about. I think it would be a great traveling memorial art display for what's happened. And yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of zombie dolls. They could be made out of fabric. They can be made out of paper. Okay, so when we start the stitching around the edge, you want to go back and forth at the beginning and the end of where you leave the opening, because if you don't, as you're stuffing it, those stitches are going to pull out. And you don't want to use too big of a stitch length. So you want to, don't use a super long big basting stitch, but nothing too tiny either. Hopefully I have enough thread to go all the way around. We'll see in the bobbin. I don't know. If it's too loud for you, turn me to mute for a minute while I've got the machine going. I didn't, Barb, but I'm glad you did. Seems to me I vaguely heard about it and then, quickly got distracted by something else. When you go over the parts with the hair, you want to do it slowly so you don't break a needle. Oh, I think we ran out of bobbin thread. Yep. I knew that was going to happen. But bonus, we got his hair sewn on, sort of. Oh, see, I need to pick that out. Part of his hair slipped out. When you're doing any sewing project, the seam ripper is like your most important tool. Although I'm using these little tiny thread scissors, but still. Okay, so let's see if I can get that down in there closer to the edge there. Let's see. You do want to like double check and make sure it's sewn in there well. Seems to be, except for that one little piece. Okay, so first we gotta rip these out. Let's see. I don't want to get up and go get my seam ripper. Sometimes if you pull a few stitches out and you have enough thread to like grab the end, sometimes it'll let you pull all of it out, but not this time. Well, let me pull some of it out. Okay, there we go. I'll catch up on that chat in a second. Hang on. I'm using sharp, pokey tools near your fingertips. It's good to pay attention to what you're doing. Just saying. Let's put an extra pin over here. Okay, let's see. Yeah, now my grandmother, I realized after this started, she's no longer with us, but I realized that she had polio. She lived through the polio pandemic. Which was another one that people forget about. Okay, so we're going to wind the bobbin. Again, this is going to be loud. So you might want to turn your volume down. And Barbara, I am so sorry about your brother, but I'm glad that you did that for him. And it's always good to remember these kind of things. It's not healthy to forget, I don't think. And the coronavirus angels in remembrance is a great idea. I think it's a conversation we need to have. I think as an art community, it would be a great project. I'm just not sure how we would fund it or accomplish it, but it's a great idea. Okay. And good morning, Lisa, by the way. I remember the days when I didn't need reading glasses to thread my sewing machine. Am I the only one? It's a good idea. It still, in some cases, is a lot of people, but I think it's a conversation that needs to be had. And even if it started out as a small town community project, but then at some point transitioned into a big worldwide project, which is what I would love to see happen, something that travels around from country to country, from town to town, city to city, remembering those who have lost their lives because of the pandemic. You've got to start somewhere, though. Okay, so we're going to go back up here and start back where we ended, hopefully. Okay. It's a good idea. I mean, let's start a conversation. I think some sort of remembrance project is a great idea. You know, even if the traveling everywhere is virtual, you know, if you started making the little angels for the people that died in your community, and as a, you know, it's a virtual project, something that's shared on a website, and people could go to the website and they could scroll through all the different angels that have been made to remember the different people in the different locations. Like, I think it's a great idea. Okay, we're back to almost where we started, so I'm going to stop. I went back and forth. We're going to cut all our threads off. Oh, there's a big giant, like, knot of thread back there. Let's get rid of that, shall we? Okay, so the next thing we need to do is, of course, take all the pins out, because we can't give him any stuffing with all these pins in there. Okay, now for stuffing, I like to use this kind of stuff. It's Perfect Loft, Pellon Perfect Loft. It's polyester cluster fiber fill. It will literally go everywhere if I open the bag, but it looks like this. I think it makes for a smoother stuffed doll than your regular stuffing. It does go everywhere. I use it for both I use it for the zombie dolls, but I use it for any projects like this. So for these Dammit dolls, yeah, so you missed the beginning. I never did sew right sides together on these Dammit dolls. I always sewed wrong sides together, and then I know because I didn't ever turn them right side out. I have always liked on things like this the idea of the raw edges, and I just pinked it so that it would fray but not fray too much. So I am remembering, so one thing you want to do is you want to turn it over to the back side and make sure you've caught all your fabric through both layers on both sides, and that you haven't missed. I'm really close to the edge right here, so I'm kind of wondering if I should unpick those and sew that again. If you're going to sew right sides together and turn it out so that you have no raw edges outside, you might want to cut your pattern with a little bit bigger seam allowance to account for that, so it doesn't get to be too skinny and hard to stuff. Yes, these bags, they have a lot in them, and it just keeps coming out, and it goes everywhere. I keep it sort of taped shut with a little tiny hole because it'll just go everywhere. Okay, you know, I just unpicked that and re-sewed it because I was too close to the edge, and I still sewed it too close to the edge. Holy cow. Hold on. I would say welcome to Monday, but it's Tuesday. Normally, I wouldn't use black thread because you would see every mistake, but it doesn't matter. It's fine. If you're doing these for sale, you might want to use different color thread. Okay, let's try that, shall we? Okay, so now you just want to stuff it. Now, when I stuff any of the dolls, I always stuff the extremities first. So just grab a wad. And this stuff is just like, it's like trying to stuff a cloud inside of a doll. It's just everywhere. Yeah, if you don't, Barbara, if you don't like the look of the raw edges, you definitely could do it the other way. I never have done these this way. I wasn't sure, to be honest with you, because it's been a really long time since I've made one of these. So I had to go on my computer in the photo archives and look it up. And I showed the picture earlier. I never did sew them right sides together. I always sewed them wrong side with the pinking edges showing. So you want to just, yeah. And, you know, stuff it as tight or as firmly as, you know, you want it to be. It doesn't, you know, that's totally up to you. Some people like it to be like a rock. Some people don't. I know this is how I stuff all the dolls, whether it's a zombie doll or one of these. This is me playing with the stuffing. I'm trying not to laugh or breathe too hard because literally the polyfill will go everywhere. And I usually find little bits like this, like all over the floor. So I just try to get a wad in there, and then I direct said wad towards the extremity that I'm trying to fill. Oh, and I laugh while I'm doing it because, you know, It's funny. You got to laugh because otherwise, what's the point? So anyway, yeah, maybe we need to have more discussions about, doing some kind of memorial project. I think it's a great idea. I know we don't need any more like projects, quote unquote, to do, but, the more I watch the news and think about all the poor families affected and the poor choices being made, we're not going to get into that today, but y'all know what I mean. Hey, Laura. So now I got some stuffing in the arms and legs. Now we're going to direct some towards the head. And then before I fill, 2 legs and 1 arm, before we fill the body, we'll make sure there's enough stuffing in all of those extremities first. And this is, I stuff the Dammit dolls the same way. They're just smaller and harder to stuff. This is what when you have days when you're like, arthritis is like acting up, it's more challenging. I still do it, but it's more challenging. Yeah, so Dammit dolls is kind of one of those, or at least it used to be one of those craft show staples. I did Dammit dolls. I did fabric fortune cookies, paperclip angels. Oh my God, who remembers paperclip angels? I did so many of those, along with little fabric art dolls, and those are some of the things that always sold really well. I did lots of denim aprons. I still have mine that I've made for myself. But I used to make them and sell them. Okay, sorry, I'm laughing at our doll. Yeah, Laura, how's your mom? I hope that things are going well. As I'm here playing with stuffing. Holy cow. So yeah, this polyfill, and I'm going to actually stuff the rest of this hair that we cut off. I'm going to stuff that in too. This polyfill is a good thing if you have to make that rare trip to the craft store and you want to make some of these. This is a good thing to use your coupon on because it can be kind of pricey. But 1 bag will last you kind of for a while, unless you're getting ready for a really big show. 1 bag should last you for a while. That's good. So I usually like to, where I can push on it, whoops, but it bounces back. I like it to be stuffed like that. This is going to be enough stuffing. You guys probably all thought that was a huge pile, but it's going to be enough. I can tell you right now. Now you can also stuff this with fabric scraps, yarn scraps. You don't make much money. They're fun to do, but you don't make much money. I always did them in conjunction with being in a artist cooperative shop. Between the two, I didn't do too badly. But by itself, no. And it depended on the show. It always annoyed me. I knew some women who, I still consider friends. I worked with them for a long time, and they would do the shows with me, and they would do mostly store-bought things that they just, glued silk flowers and stuff on, and they would make thousands, and I would do everything handmade and wouldn't make, squatola some days, barely paid my booth fee. Hey, Marion. Yes, I have to do today's Artpocalypse thing too yet. I don't know what the prompt is today. So that's getting some good bounce. So now we just need to finish filling over here. We're making a Dammit doll this morning. Think of it as a large zombie doll. You could do the zombie dolls big. You don't have to do them little. So I'm going to clip this shut, and then we're going to see if I like how it's stuffed. Oops, dropped a clip. Let's see. Yeah, I think I like that. We're gonna give him a little necktie. Now this, I'm not gonna stuff this back in the bag. So fun fact, I keep a little blue tin on the table for when I'm making zombie dolls, and it's a little bit low anyway. So I'm gonna just put that back in there, and the bag goes back in the closet. Oops. Okay. So now we're gonna sew that opening shut. Oh, ribbon wands. I remember ribbon wands. Oh, that's a good idea now. See, turn your big gingerbread man into a zombie doll. Why not? And again, if you've bought the zombie doll pattern, you can size it up and make any size doll that you want. And if you want to make some of the zombies as zombie dolls or Day of the Dead dolls or whatever, and sell those at shows, if you're able to do shows, then you have my permission right here on camera. I've given you my verbal permission to do that. Just say where you got the pattern from. That's my only thing. Okay. Trim your threads. Okay, I need to fix this part right here a little bit. Try to get it under the presser foot with all the stuffing in is a challenge. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Pick some stitches. Yeah, no, I did pink the edges. Actually, I cut it out with pinking shears, Barb. So back in the day, I totally messed up. So we got to do some more seam ripping. Back in the day, I always cut them out with pinking shears, and I usually cut a lot of them out because I would make sometimes 100 of them, and I would sell them all at, within the first few minutes of a craft show. But I mean, you can't charge enough for the labor. You're lucky if you make the cost back on the materials. Yeah. Your eyeballs, the YouTube cameras, like, you know. Could be anything. I'm trying this little seam here. So sometimes, again, this is sometimes why it's good to like do these little. There's advantages to sewing the edges by hand because you don't have some of trying to get it under the sewing machine. So fun fact about me when I'm sewing, I have this little beef about the threads being messy. It really drives me up the wall. And so I like to like get all of it out because it makes me crazy. Okay, let's try that again, shall we? One more time. Third time's the charm, right? Looks good from the back side. Another crazy loose thread. It's driving me crazy. Okay. Little threads everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. Okay, and so then I'm going to take some more of the blue. Hey, Aunt Beck, do you recognize this blue ribbon that you sent me the other day? I thought it would be cute on this Dammit doll. Then you just give him a little bow. Because I do slow stitching, I don't throw these little pieces of ribbon away. So there's our Dammit doll. So what do you think? I'll turn it this way because I think he fits better on camera. There we go. So you all wanted to know about Dammit dolls. There you go. Sorry, I was just getting a message from Mike Deacon. He really is just a large zombie doll. And you can do a bunch of them for shows. If you have friends who need some frustration and stress anger therapy like tools, this might be a nice gift for them. There's a lot of versions of the Dammit doll poem on the internet. You just do some Googling. If you're in Patreon, then you get, again, a sheet with these on here. There's 3 copies of the poem on it and then some labels for the zombie 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. But yeah, this is just the zombie doll pattern, only bigger. It's your basic gingerbread man pattern. Now I have a new one. I don't know where the old one went, but yeah, the idea is you just grasp him and give him a whack. He's pretty cute. So does anybody have any questions? Yeah, so next I could do it on camera if you all want. I need to do another Artpocalypse page. I don't know what the prompt is for today, but I can go grab the book and we can work on that if you guys want to hang out for a little bit longer. I did print the poem on fabric. So this is June Taylor. So yeah, for those of you who came late who have questions about this. So when I made the zombie doll pattern, I based it on this old Dammit doll pattern that I had from years ago that I used to make these Dammit dolls with. I still had the pattern, and I had an original copy of the poem that I used to use on the dolls. So I resized the zombie dolls smaller to make them, but it's the same pattern. So if you have the zombie doll pattern, just size it up to be the size that you want. This guy's about 10 inches across, and what do we say, 15 inches long or something? No problem. And then what I did with the poem is I got this is June Taylor printer fabric. June Taylor has printer fabric, and they have different kinds of printer fabric. It's already set up on a adhesive paper backing, and it fits through your inkjet printer, and it's supposed to be water resistant. So I took a sheet of that, and I don't like to just run it through for like one image. So I like to fill up the sheet as much as I can. And I was going to make labels for the back of the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse zombie dolls, these. So I put those like at the top of the page, and I thought, well, let me do some labels for the zombie dolls. Everybody wants to do zombie dolls next week. So I put I retyped the zombie doll poem and put it at the bottom. And so I got 3 copies of that at the bottom. And then cut it apart. And I used that for the label for the poem, and I sewed that on first. I always decorate the front of the doll before I assemble the doll. So I put the poem on, the eyeballs on, and sewed the mouth on. Oh, I hope he feels better soon, Aunt Beck. And then we assembled the doll. For the hair, I had some of this fiber stuff left from doing the meditation journal page. I don't know if you guys remember this one here, where I brushed out some fibers. And so I had some of that left over. So I decided to use it for the hair, along with some white ribbon I had and some blue ribbon that Aunt Beck actually sent me. Then, of course, we assembled the doll and stuffed him, and then sewed the side shut. Now, I pinked the edges of the fabric when I cut it out. So I cut it out with pinking shears, so that you don't have to sew right sides together and then turn it out the wrong way and then stuff it. That's just, when I was making these for craft shows, that was one extra step I didn't want to be concerned with. When you're making like 50 of these, you want to like cut down as many steps as you can. The hair, in my opinion, always made the doll, because the hair was just kind of wild and crazy and kooky, and So yeah, so then I would assemble these in a basket at the fair. I usually had them standing upright in a basket on the table, and people would pick them up and read the poem and laugh, and inevitably they would buy them, and yeah, they usually sold pretty well. They make you laugh. They can be bald. I know lots of people make them bald. I just figured that, I've always been sort of a needlework artist, embroidery, crocheting, knitting. So I always have yarn and fibers and, ribbons and stuff around. And most people, when they make Dammit dolls, they just have the poem on a tag, like a piece of paper, like hanging around the neck. But I always thought from day one, I'm probably going to lose that tag. And so I want the poem on the doll. So I always put it on the front somewhere on the stomach. In the old days, I put it on the stomach, and I oriented the poem a different way so that it was in a little bit bigger font and it covered the whole abdomen. But you totally could put it on the back. You could put it on the back of the head. We all need a laugh. Yep, we all need a laugh. And so, like, if any of you are interested in, at least having a discussion about doing some sort of memorial project for the people who have died, passed away from the pandemic, let's have a conversation about that over on Facebook somewhere maybe and see what we can come up with. It would be a huge labor intensive project and it would, be costly, but the more people we got involved, the less that would be. And even if you just did it for your town. And if at some point we put the, different collections of memorial online on a, single website somewhere that people could go and look at and get inspired to do some for their town, that would be great too. Sorry, I'm just hearing pine cones hit the roof. I need some water. Go grab it. Okay. Hang on. Ugh. So I don't know what today's prompt is for Artpocalypse. Let's see. What is today's word? Here's my Artpocalypse journal. Hold on. Somebody I don't know is trying to call me. I'm not answering the phone. Okay, so yesterday was gray. Today is strong. I don't know what I'm going to draw for that. Let's see. So you'll notice in this journal, because I've decided to play with this stash of pencils that I found, there are a lot of pastel and charcoal pencils in there, and they're going to rub off on the adjoining pages. So I put some freezer paper in between with washi tape. And when I have a chance, I do spray them so that they don't get too smeary. Right now, I only have Krylon matte finish spray, which aggravates my asthma, and I'm already having a problem with that. Thank you, wildfires. So at some point this week, I'm going to go out and just get some Aquanet and use hairspray. And, yes, I said earlier, my hair is starting to resemble Einstein's sister. Thank you, COVID. And I don't have hairspray, so I'm just going to go get some Aquanet. Okay, so we have to, hold on. Let's see. Hopefully this won't do anything to the camera or the audio, but I have to turn my things to get the pencils. Okay, wait. There's an easier way to do this. There we go. Okay. Oh, a cup of coffee might be good. Strong. What do I draw for that? Cup of coffee. I could do a cup of coffee. I took a picture of my coffee earlier. I was chatting to my team. Let's see. So let's do my coffee cup. Oops. So I have a picture here. This is my coffee cup. I was chatting to Mike. So I'm going to prop my phone up. And I'm going to start with, let's start with this drafting pencil. I'm kind of liking the light colored graphite color. This is a nice hard pencil. I'm kind of enjoying drawing with it. Let's see. So I'm just looking at the shapes in the picture. And I'm really just wanting to draw the cup. I'm not wanting to draw the background too much. I don't worry too much about the messy lines. And then go back and kind of refine the lines a little bit. Nice thing about drawing with pencil that I'm remembering as I'm playing with this stash of pencils that I found is that, you know, unlike with the ink, I usually draw with a Bic pen. Yes, you can post Inktober to my creative year, Barbara. I'm okay with that. I used to know somebody who not only painted beautiful pieces of artwork with coffee, but he did paintings with wine and different kinds of wine. And he was wonderful. He was in one of the adjoining booths in the artist cooperative shop that we were in. He did wonderful work. I don't know if he still is around or not. The store went out of business. We kind of all lost touch. Most of us lost touch with each other. Let's see. Do I want to do the carbon sketch? Let's try layout pencil first. So one thing I always did when I started drawing with pencil, also when I taught pencil drawings for Michael's, is like I don't often clean my blender because sometimes that little bit of charcoal that's on that blender is just perfect for adding shadows to your work. So like you can see that's dirty. So look. So the General's layout pencil is a little soft anyway, so it's going to smudge, but there's also charcoal on my blender. Yeah, wine. So wine stains. Anybody who's spilled their glass of wet red wine on your white blouse or your white carpet, you know wine stains. So, and he painted with wine, and different kinds of wine gave you different colors, and it was just really fascinating. So anywhere that you get too much, just, you know, this is the nice thing about pencils, just take your eraser. Let's see. This is like a charcoal pencil. So the butterfly project for the Holocaust Museum in Houston, again, I sent butterflies in years ago for that. They do butterflies for that project. So I'm not sure if there would be any issue with doing the same for the pandemic or not. Probably have to, we'd have to look into that. I don't know. I think I have a brown, I mean, you know, as I say that, you all can laugh because look at all these colored, like pastel kind of pencils that I found. The thing is, these aren't all pastel pencils. Some of them are, let's see, water soluble more than they are chestnut, port. Maybe that one. This is how I did yesterday's eyeball. I didn't use the colored ones. I just used the black and gray graphite pencils. The one thing you don't want to do when you're working with these kind of really soft pencils is do some erasing and then do this, because the graphite's going to go everywhere. Now this one doesn't smudge that well. I know, because the other thing I did when I got started with the stash of pencils is I swatched everything. And so this one I'm going to use more as just a regular colored pencil. I have it on its side. I just want to add some brown to the inside of the cup of coffee. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So that brown one moves better with water than it does with the smudging tool. The other thing is I have a couple of white ones. I have this one, and I have this one. This one. So these ones that move with water are the Derwent tint pencils. The black charcoal one is a General's Carbon Sketch, which is like a charcoal pencil. I also use the drafting pencil, and this is a General's Layout pencil, which is a really dark black graphite pencil. It does smudge a little bit, moves with water a little bit. The Pentalic Pastel pencil, and this is a Stabilo Carb Thello white pencil. For anybody who's interested. Let's see. My phone went to sleep. Okay. So, even if your drawings don't turn out so good, and some of the ones I've done in this journal, even maybe this one, they're not great, but I'm trying and I'm playing and I'm getting used to these pencils and trying to see if I like them or not. If you have a stash of these hiding in your art room somewhere, yeah, definitely, Linda, get them out, start playing. Oops, lost my picture again. My phone keeps going to sleep because, God forbid I should tell it not to go to sleep. That's actually not bad. Let's see. I do think I need a little bit like. I need to. And these white graphite pencils, pastel pencils, they don't come up white. They just kind of go on. They mix a little bit with the graphite and they lighten it. If you want it white, like if you really missed a highlight somewhere, go in with a white gel pen. I think the butterflies is a great idea. I think whatever we do, I think we should do like something, whether you're doing zombie dolls or you're doing you know, something in memorial. I think doing something to remember what's happened is a good idea. It's not a bad thing. So then you can go in and do what you can to clean up your edges. You don't have to take a super long time with these. Just like that. There you go. So then, as always, I kind of do this. Oops. I really, really need some hairspray. And then I take a picture, and the people who aren't here right now will see that later on social media. There we go. So that's today's word was strong. So whether you're doing Inktober, you're doing Artpocalypse 2020, you know, if you have a stash of supplies, pens, pencils, paints, fabric, whatever it is, and that you're not using, or that you've kind of forgotten about, to be honest, like me and these pencils, you know, get them out and give them a try and see what you can make with them. I think, you know, play with them for a month, do some kind of challenge, and then at the end of the month, you'll know whether you love them or not, enough to keep them and keep using them. Coffee cups, kind of like that's, you know, it's kind of not a hard thing to draw. It's quick and easy. Does anybody have any questions? So whether you're making a Dammit doll or a zombie dolls, or here's the zombie doll. This is the Conquest. I have to make Death later this week. Thank you. Play with your art, have some fun, and, you know, work through all of the stress that we're all feeling right now with your art. That's, you know, find some people that you can safely talk to about it, because keeping it all shut up inside of you is not healthy. Thank you. You know, sometimes just the nice thing again about working with pencil is that if you get some graphite in the wrong place, you can erase it. Now, sometimes this mono eraser works great. I don't, oh, so it's by Tombow. Sometimes you need a kneaded eraser. So it just depends. I have both here. Sometimes if I don't want to use the blending stump to blend, I do have a little chamois that I use around my finger to do some blending. It just depends on the mood that I'm in and what I'm drawing. See you later, Nell. So whatever you guys are doing, you know, have fun with it. And, you know, let's have a conversation about some kind of memorial going forward, because I think that's a good thing. And I'm glad I told you all, because now I won't forget, because you'll all remind me. And let's see where we can go with that, because I think it's a good thing. We could have a website or social media site or something that people post their, you know, memorial pieces on. All right, that's it for today. Don't forget to support the free content here on YouTube and over in the Facebook art groups. How you can, not only for me, but all of your favorite creatives. Usually here on YouTube, there is something in their video description. There is in mine. Right down, my Etsy shop has 40% off stamps and stencils. That's right, 40% off. That for some items is below cost. Just FYI, I just have a lot of inventory and we need to clear some of it out and make way for new stuff. None of it's being discontinued, but I won't be carrying it as much of them in stock. Like, I won't have 10 of something. I'll just have like maybe 3. So check it out, and check it out for your other favorite creatives. Don't forget to work through the stress of what's going on in the world right now in a healthy manner, because that's a good thing. Find a safe place you can talk to about things. If you have creative friends you can talk to, we have a Facebook chat group that we talk about stuff in. And yeah, go out and have a great day. Do something nice for yourself because you deserve it. And I'll see you all later. And yes, you can post your work in both A Life of Art and Self-Expression and over in My Creative Year. So if you're making Inktober drawings, Artpocalypse drawings, you're doing zombie dolls, you're doing Dammit dolls, post your work over in the art groups. All right, that's it for today, guys. I will see you later. I will put the link for the June Taylor fabric in the video description within the next few minutes. So look for that if you need to buy some fabric. All right, I will see you later. Bye, guys.